I'm out here on the White River catching smallmouth bass using a variety of techniques. I might catch some other fish too. I'm wading up and down this river during flooded conditions, just trying to catch something. My name is Carter, and you're watching Outdoor Science. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Arkansas. It's up into the 80s now. The waters in the rivers have gone down from the rains we had a few weeks ago, and it is perfect conditions to chase some smallmouth bass. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to follow this creek up and down and try to see if I can find some good spots and throw some flies at them. Let's go. I actually want to get over to that island over there and fish the other side of it towards the bank, but I don't want to wade across the water and scare anything off that could be hiding right in front of me. So I'm just gonna toss out this little, I have no idea what kind of fly this is, like a clouser jig sort of thing, and see if anything is up here in this riffle. I do have all my spin fishing gear in the car if I want to switch over to that, but I'd really like to catch a smallmouth on the fly.
Welcome to Fun Fish Facts, and instead of watching me flail around in the water for 30 minutes, I thought I'd give you some fun facts about the fish that we're after. That's right, today I'm going to tell you about Micropterus dolomute, otherwise known as smallmouth bass or smallie.
Alright, there's a nice little pool right here that I'm going to try. And I'm going to try to keep moving until I catch fish because I know there are fish here. I just need to find exactly where.
They get the name smallmouth bass because, unlike their cousin the largemouth bass, the back of their jaw doesn't extend past their eye. It might seem like a small detail, but it's a key identifier.
So this seems like a really good spot because it's at the bottom of this really big riffle section. So I'm thinking that in this deep pool, there's gonna be a lot of fish trying to eat what's coming downstream from them. But I think that I'm gonna start here and work my way up. I was all the way back at that bridge back there, and I had to kind of four-wheel drive in my Crocs to get over here. So let's hope there's some fish.
The kind of water that you see here is clean, cool, with a rocky bottom and some current. It's exactly what smallmouth love. They prefer it cleaner and often cooler than largemouth bass, which makes them a great indicator species for a healthy river system like this stretch of the West Fork of the White River. You'll often find them near structure, like submerged rocks, boulders, fallen trees, or undercut banks, anywhere they can get a little cover and ambush prey.
Well, 3 times now, I've seen a gar come up and either breathe, because gars can roll on top of the water, or grab a fish, I don't know, but it was a good sized one, and I might as well try to cast for it, because I think this is a really good looking spot. There's a deep hole on the other side of the bank. This looks like a really good stretch.
Smallmouth bass are incredibly aggressive predators. Their diet is pretty varied. They'll munch on crayfish, smaller fish, aquatic insects, even tadpoles, and the occasional frog, salamander, or snake. Down here, crayfish are often a prime menu item. They use this cool feeding mechanism called ram suction, meaning they can either suck prey in or rapidly charge it with an open mouth. That aggression translates into why anglers love them so much. Ounce for ounce, pound for pound, many anglers call the smallmouth the hardest fighting freshwater fish there is.
I'm gonna try one more spot up here, and then I'm gonna start going back downriver towards where I started and hit some of those holes that I skipped. Well, I'd love to be able to show you, but I dropped my GoPro, so it's no longer waterproof. It cracked the back screen. But I can see that there's a huge gar in the water. So this must be a fishy spot. I'm gonna hang out around here, try to pull something out.
They are absolute bundles of muscle, known for powerful runs and acrobatic leaps when hooked.
Just hooked a snake and it was fighting, but I had to kind of yank on my fly to rip it out. I didn't bite it. I had like stripped line and it was swimming towards me and it got tangled in the line and then it got hooked. It was just not a good situation, but fortunately I got it out. Still no fish though.
Even when the bite is tough, like it was for me for the first part of this video, just knowing these fish are here makes it worth it. This time of year, depending on the exact water temperature, usually when it hits the high 50s to low 60s Fahrenheit, they're thinking about spawning. Males will find clean, rocky, or gravelly spots to fan out a nest, which they guard fiercely. Now, while we typically find the northern smallmouth bass in the White River system, this part of Arkansas is really interesting because it's near the native range of a closely related but distinct species, the Neosho bass. Its scientific name is Micropterus velox.
Well, how about we try again? This time I'm at a little bit different of a spot, but still the same waterway, just a different access, a couple hundred yards down the road. And this time I'm going to be using traditional gear. I'm also going to be using a different GoPro mount. My GoPro is cracked and I don't want it to fall in the water if I use a tripod, so I'm just going to do a POV. And I have no idea how snaggy it's going to be out in the middle of the river. Okay, I moved down a little bit and I'm going to use this tube jig now. You can kind of see there's some rocks right here. I'm going to cast out just in front of and behind those, hopefully not get snagged up, because the fish aren't going to be out in the middle of the water where it's really fast flowing and there's no structure, especially smallmouth bass. They're so opportunistic that they're gonna hide in cover and ambush any prey that comes along, and that these rocks offer that opportunity. So I was just over there on those trees and I'm come down and you can see out in the middle the water is still moving pretty fast, but right here we have this little bit of a rock structure, and between the middle of the river and this little bank, the water's moving a lot slower, and I want to be kind of careful to not spook any fish, but I'm betting that there's probably going to be something up here, and I just need to figure out what they want to eat. So I'm going to use the tube jig, and I've also got this little trout magnet in case they want something really small. The only problem with that is because this water is moving at a pretty significant clip, I don't know that this is really going to do anything. We'll see. Way out into the middle, just because I can, and because you never know. There might be something over there.
For a long time, the neosho was considered just a subspecies of the smallmouth bass, but recent genetic work using DNA sequencing techniques in the lab that I work in, it has been shown that it's a unique evolutionary lineage deserving of full species status. If you catch one, you might be able to enter it for a world record.
Oh, I had a bite. There was a bite over there. It was just a tiny, tiny little fish. All right, I went with black and green with a black jig head. This is just the most natural looking color since this water looks pretty clear.
The neosho bass is native to tributaries of the Arkansas River system nearby, like the Illinois River or sections of the upper Neosho River itself, in that central interior highlands ecoregion of northwest Arkansas, southwest Missouri, and northeast Oklahoma.
All right, I'm back at my original spot. It looks like there's some other people here as well, so we'll see how this goes. But I just feel a little bit more comfortable in this water because it's a little bit smaller and a little less crowded, even though there are some people here. It's kind of incredible. There was a whole tree over here, and in the last rains it got carried all the way down there. At least the water feels really nice. Okay, well, the water is a little bit higher than the last time I was here, which might work in my favor.
They look similar to northern smallmouth, but genetic data tells us they've been evolving separately for a long time. Unfortunately, stocking of northern smallmouth into the neosho's native range has led to hybridization, which is a real conservation concern for the unique genetics of the neosho. So while the fish we're targeting here in the West Fork of the White River are Micropterus dolomieu, it's fascinating to be fishing so close to the home of its distinct cousin, neosho bass, and to be part of the research community trying to understand these amazing fish better.
It's a long-nosed turtle. There we go. First fish of the day. So far the only fish of the day. Nice little green sunfish. All right, I brought my GoPro over to change the battery, tossed a line out, and then caught this guy. Oh, he's about to poop. I'm gonna throw him back. Let's get a release on him. Yeah, I definitely thought he was dead, and then he scared me, so that was pretty funny. So yeah, that was just on this little rooster tail with a head right here in this little slow-moving water, and I saw him chase it and kind of just killed the bait, and he swallowed it. So let's see if there's any more, even if they're just little guys.
Here are a few more fun facts about smallmouth bass. Female smallies are usually larger than the males. Those distinct vertical bars or blotches you see on their sides tend to fade as the fish gets older. And if you're wondering about the biggest one ever caught, the official IGFA all-tackle record stands at a whopping 11 pounds 15 ounces, caught way back in 1955 at Dale Hollow Reservoir on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. That's not too far away from here.
There we go. Yes. Nice smallie. Yes. Oh, got off right there. Dang it. Oh my gosh.
They're also known to migrate, sometimes quite a distance in river systems, searching for deeper pools to hang out in during the winter when the water gets below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. They don't truly hibernate, but they definitely slow down and feed less.
It's a little chilly.
While they're tough fighters, smallmouth populations do face threats. Because they need clean water, pollution is a major issue. There have also been studies, particularly back east, finding issues with intersex fish, which is males developing female characteristics, often linked to hormone-disrupting chemicals getting into waterways. It's a reminder of how important clean water and healthy habitats are.
There we go. There we go. Yes, there we go. Easy now. Easy now. Yes. There we go. There we go. That is a good size creek smallie. Look at those colors. Wow, that is beautiful. All right, we're on the board. So I was just using that little white rooster tail, and you can see right here behind me a bunch of water is spilling down here, and then it kind of slows down. There's still a really fast moving current against that bank, but as you get closer to this side of the water, it moves a lot slower. So much so that right here near me, it's not hardly flowing at all. It's kind of going back upstream into a little circle. So in the middle of that circle is some freestanding water. You can kind of see where these shoals drop off right about there. There's a ledge from the deep to the shallow water. That's exactly where that fish was, on that ledge. So now I have a good idea of where these fish are. The other one that I hooked but didn't bring in was on a similar situation a little bit farther that way. It was on the transition between the fast moving water and the deeper, slower moving water. So for now, I think I'm gonna pack up my bigger rods and just use this small one, because that was a whole lot of fun. And I know what works now, because that's 2 bites on that one bait so far.
Whether you're using a fly rod, trying to tempt them with a streamer or popper, or casting conventional lures like jigs and crankbaits, pursuing smallmouth bass is always an adventure. They're curious, aggressive, and inhabit some beautiful places.
All right, last spot of the day is just gonna be on either side of this island. A couple slower moving little channels over here. There we go, there we go. Nice. Ooh, this guy looks like he's been through it. Sorry, pal. Look at the colors on this guy. Just absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's put him back.
Nice.
There we go. Nice. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it to someone else who might enjoy it. Don't forget, I post a new video every Friday, 7 p.m. Central. So don't forget to check back in and see what else I get up to. I had so much fun wading up and down this creek, catching fish, finally figuring out what was working. And I also got to see a whole bunch of other wildlife. It was just really nice to spend some quality time in such beautiful weather out here in Arkansas. Thanks for watching.